It will take him 6 back-breaking weeks to reach the trading point, and then, assuming the weather hasn't ruined the crop, he'll sell it, head back, pick up the next batch and start all over again. But that's just the start of the journey for the team.
The original thought was to have quite an intimate performance that's just looking at personal stories and global stories about tea and coffee. I've done quite a varied amount of I suppose what you call site-specific stuff, and I've also made work where I've had interviews with people that I then, on a certain subject, where I then sort of create a show from that. So quite comfortable with that. Like anything, it's about the time scale really, and how you manage that time to then create the material and then feel comfortable with that. Really looking forward to properly getting to grips with it now, spending a really intensive 2 weeks and coming up with something that as well I've got a half a mind to making sure we can take it into other different cafes as well, so it's not too specifically about this place.
It's 1851. And Robert Fortune has just arrived in the majestic Wuyi Mountains in China. He really shouldn't be there. Ever since the Opium Wars, Europeans aren't allowed more than a day inland from the seaports.
Yeah, really nice to get cracking on it and for ideas to start sort of pulling together, because when you start on a process it can be really, really nebulous and just so many different ideas. I'm looking at the story of tea and coffee, whether it's really big and historical or really, really personal, because most people have got an experience with those drinks. They're part of everyone's lives pretty much. I'm in Cafe B70 here in West Brom, which is a really nice place. It's an independent coffee store, coffee and tea. They do lunches as well. It's got a really varied clientele, nice laid back sofa vibe. We take a bit of artistic license with some of the stuff that people talk to us about, but yeah, people have shared with me, quite personal moments about, that we can all really relate to, where everybody's got together, the family have got together, and perhaps there's been a bereavement and somebody's kind of, I'll get the tea on then, and those are the sort of personal moments that are going to come through the narrative. I asked my son, he was in his school play at the end of the year, end of the summer term, and he said, are you nervous? Were you nervous? He said, no, I'm not nervous. I just felt cold in my veins. And I sort of feel like that's a brilliant way of describing the creative process, or what it's like to be a performer. Like, I'm not nervous. I just got cold in my veins. It's just, it's excitement. Actually, I feel on top of it enough. But also it's just that kind of little bit of adrenaline, knowing that you've got, shows coming next week, basically.
What the hell was he doing? Following his dog into the road like that. He's blind as a bat. Anyone fancy a cuppa?
Like a lot of durational performance, I'm slightly shell-shocked because I just finished 2 hours of pretty much constant performance. But it's amazing how an intimate experience can really kind of just punctuate somebody's day, and it feels like whoever you meet, somehow you've just taken them out of their normal life, asked them to think about something different for a change, and then off they go again. I'm really happy with where I am. Like, it feels like a neat experience to be able to offer in this scenario. So I'm really chuffed, and it's always great to work with Steve and Francis, because they've got an eye on. There always have a real clarity of vision about the emotional experience that an audience member might go on. So you might have all these ideas, but somehow Steve and Francis are always capable of just tweaking it a tiny bit so that the experience is that much more emotional and personal for the audience. A few times, I just felt people get tears in their eyes about different stories. Some of the stories that, particularly in the tea show, are quite kind of emotional, and I think probably comes a little bit sideways at you if you weren't expecting it to feel those more emotional stories, like about life and death, really. And hopefully that's approached in a gentle way, so that it's not it's not sort of too much for people, not overwhelming, but at least it provides people with a little bit of food for thought. And I sort of constructed this story about the history of tea alongside personal stories of tea, to show that kind of the world has been globalised really for a lot longer than we think. So the sort of colonial history runs deeply within the story of tea as well, and that's something that we're still kind of working through today, really, that we're all living in very multi-ethnic, multi-diverse communities that have a shared history, one that wasn't necessarily always positive.
Some drink we all adore has been enough to start 2 wars. There's so many crazy stories, from the epic to the gory. Think about how tough a life can be. Let's be thankful for the humble cup of tea.